Okay, so today I'll be giving you some quick to implement strategies to make you feel like you get lots done and still have enough time to take care of yourself. So you can be prioritizing and scheduling without overcommitting. Now, so as I mentioned, I am from Belgium, but I've been living in Cusco, Peru for the past 7 years. I'm super passionate about mixing these two cultures, the very planned, structured Belgian way and the very unpredictable, spontaneous Peruvian way. I always said that a mix of these two cultures would be ideal. And here I am coaching high achievers and entrepreneurs around finding that balance between the planned life and the flexible life. And this is how I came up with what you see in this corner here, Healthy High Achievers, which is the name of my podcast and the name of online courses I've created. So why is it important to learn how to be productive and spontaneous? When you focus only on productivity, you want to use every hour of your day in a useful way. Okay, you want to fill up every time slot in your weekly planner. And there's no space for spontaneous activities. You just don't have the time to be spontaneous. Well, the problem with focusing too much on productivity is that you divide your attention over too many projects and activities. You keep adding on extra stuff, even when you feel overwhelmed. You have that little voice in your head that reminds you there's lots you have to do. You feel guilty when you try to relax, and you feel scattered and all over the place. So your plate is full and your energy bucket is empty, but you keep adding on new things. So ask yourself, in what way do you feel that you're overdoing it, being overly productive? This will look different for everyone, and I want you to be able to apply these tips to your personal life. We think we can do it all and still take enough time for ourselves. So this is problem number one. It's our productivity addiction, and it's something so ingrained in society that we keep saying, oh, but when I finish this project, I will have more time for sleep or whatever it is. How often do we lie to ourselves like that? So we're constantly up and running, filling up every time slot in our schedule, and you lose focus. There are all these to-dos. Your mind constantly wanders off to other things that you need to get done. You feel overwhelmed, stressed, and you're looking for more structure. You want to get more things done because you feel like you're not doing enough. The other problem is our schedule. We treat our schedule as gold. Anything we put in there has to happen, and we don't want to cancel, even when our body asks us to. Now, I am from Belgium, living in Peru, and I had to learn very quickly that a plan is just a plan. Many plans here get canceled, okay? But in Belgium, we take it way too seriously. So we count in units of time, not energy. We live in our schedules instead of our bodies. It's not sustainable. We can't keep living like that. And then we think we need to fill up every time slot. There are no empty spaces in our schedule. We didn't learn how to leave empty spaces, and that's where I come in. So we want to be productive all the time. And like I said, it's that productivity addiction. Now, today, I'm not going to keep talking about the problem. I just wanted to give you an overview because today we're going to talk about 4 tips that you can start implementing this week so that you can prioritize better, stop overcommitting, and simplify your schedule. It's kind of decluttering your life. Number 1, zooming out. So when you zoom out for a minute and you look at the bigger picture of your life, where are you heading? Are your daily actions are they still connected to your bigger goals? And what's truly important to you? Are you paying attention to these things? Or are you just caught up in daily to-dos and urgent things that need to get done? This is super important when you have a daily or weekly schedule and you get caught up in daily tasks and short-term projects. How often do you just zoom out and check in with how you're doing in every area of your life? Just like you would do with your business. What's your business plan in the long term, So what's your life plan in the long term? How often do you just sit and reflect and zoom out? Number 2, the roles you play in life. This is an idea that I have from the book First Things First from Stephen Covey. He's also the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in fact, First Things First is one of those 7 habits. And then he wrote a whole separate book on that one, which is brilliant. If you want to give it a read, I highly recommend it. And he talks about focusing on the actions that you want to, instead of focusing on the actions that you want to prioritize, focus on identity. And this identity can be divided into the different roles that you play in your life. So for example, I am a health coach, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a singer, I'm a daughter and a granddaughter, I'm a warm friend, because that's important to me. It's important to me to be a warm friend for my friends in my life. So when you pick your roles, you see that some of the roles are work and some are personal, and we don't separate them. There is no such thing as work-life balance. That's a whole other topic I could be talking about, but there's no such thing. Every role that you play in life influences the other roles. And so when you pick your roles and you think of the most important tasks per role that you want to focus on this week, this will automatically balance your productive work life and your personal life. So why am I talking about first the rocks and then the sand here? I have an image. It's something that Stephen Covey talks about, the rocks and the sand. You might have heard of it. So when you have a jar on the left here, and you put in the sand first, then the pebbles and the rocks don't enter. But when you put the big rocks first, then the pebbles, and then the sand, everything fits. It's the same stuff, just organized differently, okay? Same with our weekly planner, same stuff, just a whole different way of doing it. So this is a symbol, of course, of the sand is everything that calls your attention, that's external and urgent. So phone calls, messages, emails, social media, notifications, to-do lists. So things that other people interrupting what you're doing, mostly is the sand. You should focus not on the urgent matters, but more on the important matters. That's the rocks. That's the roles that you play in life. Like I said, when I want to call, let's say my role as a daughter, and I want to call my mom this week, it's not urgent. I could postpone it. So the important things in our life are often very easy to postpone because there's no pressure, but they're important. So when you often zoom out and you connect to your roles, you'll keep doing the things that are important to you instead of running around doing all the urgent things, being busy all the time, and then not feeling fulfilled. It's the important tasks for the roles that you play in your life that will make you feel fulfilled. So number 3, blocks and buffer zones. You've probably heard of working in blocks, time blocking, but the most important block and the only block that I use in my schedule right now is the buffer zone. You can have 1 or 2 buffer zones in a day, and that's basically a moment that you schedule, could be 30 minutes, could be an hour, where you are answering emails, messages, doing small 1-minute to-dos, all these things that just pop up. So when I'm focusing on something, on one big task, like creating this presentation, I write these, there are these mini things that pop up in my mind, right? Little to-dos that I want to get done. I write them down and I keep them for my 11 a.m. buffer zone or my 4 p.m. buffer zone. And most emails and messages, they're not as urgent as we think. We're like, oh, we want to click on it and our brain is already distracted, but often they can wait a couple of hours at least, right? Maybe even a day. Now, 2 other blocks that are super important are your productivity window and your relaxation window. So when do you feel you're most productive? Is it in the morning, or do you get active in the afternoon? It takes you a while. Or are you a night owl who does the best work late at night? Also, when do you prefer to focus on one important task? And when do you want the freedom to just have meetings, do a million mini tasks? To give you an example, I prefer having my full focus in the morning with no distractions, so I can work on one important task or project. And in the afternoons, after lunch, I feel more tired or scattered, and I hop from one task to another. I'm also more social in the afternoon. So this is exactly when I'm recording this for you. Because in the mornings, I just want to have silent focus. Now, what time of the day do you feel the least productive? And can you allow yourself to take it easy during those hours? Maybe it's 1 hour after lunch. You just need to relax a little. Or is it anything after 8 or 9 p.m.? Experiment with these windows for a week. See what works best for you and feel the difference. When you truly define your relaxation window and your productivity window and you separate them, you actually have a transition from work into personal life or relaxation, and you pick the right activities that make you feel relaxed and make you feel happy when your relaxation window starts. Then you will see how much you can actually get done during your productivity window because you feel more refreshed, recharged, and focused. I had a time where I would work very productively from like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and stop. And so I had the whole afternoon to meet friends and do things and my hobbies and everything. And I felt like there was so much space in between my work days because I had from 2 p.m. to the next morning, 8 a.m., that I felt so much more focused and refreshed the next day to get back to it. It works way better for me than 9 to 5, 9 to 6. Then number 4, the last one. Well, these are some questions that I just wanted to jot down for you. I already went over them. The questions that you can ask yourself: when do I feel least productive, less focused? Here they are. But then number 4 is having an internal meeting on Sundays with yourself. So on a Sunday, for example, could be another day. Plan a moment to have an internal meeting with yourself, like an internal meeting in a business, but then just with yourself. You are your business, you're a VA. So you look at the past week. What worked well for me? You can reevaluate. How did I balance my productivity and relaxation time? What do I need more of or less of? And then you look at your week ahead. Is what I have planned realistic? Does it look doable? Or am I taking on too much? What can I do about that? Maybe I need to cancel something. What can I leave out? And then ask yourself, when will I have time for myself? Just downtime, resting, not even social life, not even hobbies, but just you, me time. If you always tend to plan too much and still feel like you're doing enough, that's the last slide here. What can you really accomplish in a week, okay? If you always feel like you're doing too much, take a week, 1 week, to just journal about what you get done. Instead of planning, you would be tracking. So tracking what you're actually getting done in a week. And then you look at it so that you can have a new realistic baseline of what you can truly do in a week. I do this very often with clients who are perfectionists. It works really well because sometimes it's so distorted. We think we can do everything at once all the time, but we're not superhuman, okay? So use your creativity to make it manageable, to create space to listen to your body. Otherwise, you might be feeling like this, right? You can create a good balance between fixed plans and flexible activities, okay? So that you can have more breathing space for yourself and you're not just working or sitting there like this. So I just wanted to leave you with a little quote. Your energy is a currency. Spend it well. Invest it wisely. So always thinking, not what am I using my time for, but mostly what am I giving my energy to? All right, and with that, the next video is a little closing, a little summary. And I was happy that you were here sharing this moment with me, watching this. And yeah, go ahead and watch the closing video.